Hello and welcome. Today, you will learn English through another motivational story. This is episode 7 of David's Journey. In the last episode, David completed Mr. Peterson's challenge and discovered that opportunities can be found through people. Today, David's world becomes a little bigger. Listen carefully and enjoy the story. Several weeks had passed since David completed the challenge. The notebook Mr. Peterson had given him now sat beside his bed. Every night, David wrote something inside it. Sometimes, he wrote lessons he had learned. Sometimes, he wrote goals for the future. Sometimes, he simply wrote his thoughts. The notebook had become a small part of his life. One afternoon, while leaving work, David received a message. It was from Daniel, the young entrepreneur he had met at the bus stop. "Hey, David, want to grab a coffee tomorrow?" David smiled. "Sure," he replied. The next afternoon, they met at a small cafe near the city center. The cafe was busy but comfortable. Soft music played in the background. People talked quietly while drinking coffee. At first, they discussed simple things: work, family, the weather. But soon the conversation became deeper. David told Daniel about his dreams. He spoke about wanting a better future, about helping his family, about becoming someone successful one day. Daniel listened carefully. He did not laugh. He did not tell David his dreams were impossible. Instead, he nodded. "I understand exactly what you mean." For the first time in a long while, David felt understood. Most people his age wanted to talk about parties, entertainment, or gossip. There was nothing wrong with those things, but David often felt different. He wanted to talk about goals, ideas, possibilities. Daniel was the same. The conversation lasted nearly 2 hours. Neither of them noticed the time passing. Over the next few weeks, they met several more times. Sometimes they had coffee. Sometimes they walked through the city. Sometimes they simply sat on a bench and talked. Their friendship grew naturally. There was no pressure, no competition, just two young men trying to improve their lives. One Saturday afternoon, Daniel surprised him. "Would you like to come to an event with me next week?" David looked curious. What kind of event? A small entrepreneur gathering. David blinked. "Entrepreneurs?" Daniel laughed. "Don't worry. They're normal people." David smiled. But inside, he felt nervous. Very nervous. The entire week, he thought about the event. What if he didn't belong there? What if everyone was smarter than him? What if he embarrassed himself? The day finally arrived. The event was held in a community hall downtown. As David entered the building, he immediately noticed groups of people talking. Some wore business clothes. Others dressed casually. Some looked young. Others looked much older. David suddenly felt out of place. His confidence disappeared. Daniel noticed. "You look nervous." "I am nervous." Daniel smiled. "So was I the first time." Those words helped. A little. As they walked through the hall, Daniel introduced David to several people. A graphic designer, a website developer, a bakery owner, a university student building an online business. At first, David spoke very little. He mostly listened. Then he remembered something. Mr. Peterson's challenge. Speak to people. Ask questions. Learn. Taking a deep breath, David joined a conversation. Then another, and another. The more he spoke, the more comfortable he became. Nobody judged him. Nobody laughed at him. In fact, most people were friendly. One man spoke about the mistakes he made when starting his business. A woman explained how she taught herself new skills online. A student shared how he earned his first income through freelance work. David listened carefully. Every story taught him something. As the evening continued, he felt a strange feeling growing inside him. It was not excitement. It was not happiness. It was something else. For the first time, David felt like he belonged. Not because he was successful. Not because he was rich. Not because he had achieved his dreams. But because he realized everyone in the room had started somewhere. Everyone had doubts. Everyone had fears. Everyone had struggles. The successful people were not special. They had simply kept moving forward. As the event came to an end, David and Daniel walked outside. The evening air was cool. The city lights sparkled around them. "Thank you for bringing me," David said. Daniel smiled. "You did well today." David laughed. "I spent half the evening feeling terrified." Daniel laughed too. "You know, a year ago, I was exactly the same." David looked surprised. "You?" Daniel nodded. "I wasn't confident at all." David found that hard to believe. Daniel always seemed calm, always seemed sure of himself. "Confidence isn't something you're born with," Daniel said. "It's something you build." The words stayed with David. As they continued walking, Daniel's phone suddenly rang. He glanced at the screen. Immediately, his expression changed. His smile disappeared. He stopped walking. For the first time all evening, he looked worried. Very worried. "You okay?" David asked. Daniel hesitated, then forced a smile. "Yeah, just give me a second." He stepped away and answered the call. David watched from a distance. The conversation seemed serious. Daniel spoke quietly. His face became tense. Several minutes later, he returned. "Everything all right?" David asked. Daniel smiled again, but this time the smile looked different. Not natural. Not relaxed. "Yeah," he said. Something just came up. Before David could ask another question, Daniel checked the time. "I should get going." The answer felt strange. The evening had been going so well, but David didn't push further. "See you soon?" he asked. Daniel nodded. "Yeah, soon." Then he walked away into the night. David stood there for a moment, watching his new friend disappear into the crowd. Something felt different, but he couldn't explain why. As he walked home beneath the city lights, one question remained in his mind. Who was on the other end of that phone call? And why had it changed Daniel's expression so quickly?